Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, a NAC accredited with A grade deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today's webinar. This webinar is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Today is 30th May 2024 and it is a 126th edition of this national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 and beyond, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. The title of today's webinar is very important. Smart tribal farming, precision farming through enhanced efficiency fertilizer, EEF, for increased yields, greater profits, and higher carbon credits. And there are three experts who are joining with us to talk about their products. And it is their product is AgriPower and from Green Wave Products. And the experts are Mr. Robert Reese. Good morning.
Good
And
morning.
Marco Thiruselvam and Mr. Sami Osman. And Mr. Sami Osman is due to flight disruption. He may not be able to join us today, but the points which he is going to cover will be communicated to the participants. I wish to inform the participants and the panel of speakers that the university regularly conducts two webinar series, national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 and beyond, and on Thursdays, and international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India on Saturdays. And so far, 125 webinars have been conducted on different topics. Each topic can generate an agri-tech startup, for the, young entrepreneurs to get into that. Mr. Robert Reese, can you put your video on?
Yes.
Yeah, kindly, because it's live. And some of the points, the topics which I would like to read it out, because reading out 125 titles, it will take more time. But these are all available on our university website. Role of agriculture cooperative societies in e-governance. We started with this webinar, with topic on 18th August 2020. Blockchain-based fishery value chain, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture for income revolution, smart tribal agriculture, optimizing value chain, digital agri-tech and industry perspective, land resources information system in India, present and road ahead, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income, role of technologies in mitigating crop risk, realizing the economic benefits of agroforestry, Actosol, organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health by Dr. Daman Walia from United States of America. Empowering farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, agrobiodiversity, intellectual property laws, agriculture and farmers' welfare, sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, Spices Informatics network value chain, generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech interventions, artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease, doubling income of farmer through eco-agri revolution, rural transformation for farmers' income, circular bioeconomy through resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations, BAFE models of revival of traditional water management systems to enable doubling of farmers' income, democratizing the future of farming, a global experience, data-driven agriculture and agri-tech startups perspective, impacting lives through livelihood promotion and value chain development, dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity, innovative future farming need for design of agriculture, animal health industry, quality, innovation, talent, technology have power to transform, farm linked activities and secondary agriculture empowering small and marginal farmers in India, harnessing opportunities in rainfed areas, pathway to prosperity, experience sharing on entrepreneurial journey in secondary agriculture, development of livelihood activities among tribals through Nature Science Foundation, climate resilient smart hill agriculture, Jawad Hills 2050, and land policy reforms for doubling farmers' income, smart tribal farming, integrated farm health management for improving food, income, and livelihood security of tribal farmers of Badgam, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, smart tribal farming measures for increasing economic productivity and empowering tribal communities in Wayanad district, Kerala state, in Dungarpur district, Rajasthan state, in Mayurbhanj district, Odisha state, and in Coimbatore district, Tamil Nadu. And there are innovations and research in biomass for their potential utilization. And different topics talking about grassroots level and how to bring in technology adoption in agriculture systems to increase productivity, income increase, and how to get carbon credit. In this today's topic is very important. We have taken up a lot of pilot projects on smart tribal farming in a cluster of 10 to 15 tribal villages in many parts of the country. That's why I put the title Smart Tribal Farming. Another two categories are smart rainfed farming and smart irrigated farming. And precision farming through enhanced efficiency fertilizer for increased yields, greater profits, and a higher carbon credit, achieving Sustainable Development Goals 2 and Sustainable Development Goals 13. For the benefits of the participants, let me also slightly explain the keywords of this topic. Carbon credits. Carbon credits are measurable, verifiable emission reduction from certified climate action projects. These projects reduce, avoid, and remove greenhouse gas emissions. Credit are also known as carbon offsets or permits that allow the owner to emit a certain amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases. The benefits of carbon credit, the project that aim at forest protection or sustainable land management can preserve critical habitats, animal and plant species, and promote ecosystem services. Carbon credits can also play a role in financing sustainable projects. One carbon credit has a monetary value on the compliance and voluntary carbon markets of rupees 40 to $80 on an average. One carbon credit is issued for 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide. Carbon credits can be purchased from a variety of sources, including online carbon marketplaces, brokers, and retailers. Landgate is an online platform that specializes in providing carbon offset solutions for businesses and individuals by connecting them with landowners who manage sustainable land use projects. Who manage sustainable land use projects. That is very important. and agriculture and sustainable agriculture and sustainable land use, management go very well hand in hand. Agriculture products comes under multiple sustainable development goals like SDG 2, 12, 13, and 15, but is mainly under 2. 2 is what? It is focusing on ending hunger, improving nutrition, food security, and promoting sustainable agriculture. This goal includes developing rural infrastructure, agricultural research, and extension services, as well as encouraging technology development and creating gene banks. B carbon credits through agriculture comes under Sustainable Development Goals 13, focuses on climate action, which connects agriculture to climate change adaptation, and mitigation. So, dear farmers and other stakeholders associated with agriculture, you have to get benefit out of this important lecture today we are having on this national webinar series and doubling farmers income by 2022 and beyond. Goal 2 is about creating a world free of hunger by 2030. Agriculture sector is very important. To develop any sector of economy, a nation essentially needs four main synchronized interventions: enabling policy environment, state-of-the-art technologies, financing mechanism, and entrepreneurship capacity. India is said to be a land of villages. We have got about 6.25 lakh villages, and it is a foundation of Indian economy. And its gross domestic product (GDP) is about 20% of the total GDP, and which still accounts for about 50% of the total employment, according to the Economic Survey 2020-21. And farmers of India are facing multidimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt and lack of infrastructure, and weather-related information. We have got about 14.5 crores operational holdings, after which 85% of the farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. Farmer needs timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. And we also, government of India also is taking digital transformation in agricultural systems. There was a committee established in 2016 under the chairmanship of Dr. Ashok Dalwai, is a top senior bureaucrat of government of India. The committee was doubling farmers' income by 2022. It submitted its report in 2018. I have been associated with the two volumes. It has got 14 volumes, volume 11 and volume 12B. Volume 11 deals with agriculture extension, ICT, and volume 12B is exclusively dealing with digital technology in agriculture. It recommends 7 mission mode programs for total digital transformation of the agriculture sector. And I will read it out for the benefits of the participants. That digitalized agriculture, this can be useful for almost all developing countries. Digital technology and innovation in agriculture, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector in 3 categories: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. We have got 142,000 tribal villages in the country out of 6.25 lakhs villages. And every village has to be reliant. And second one is digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. And third is digitalized agricultural resources information systems and micro-level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Digitalized agriculture value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, and digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, and credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management system per drop and more crop, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. And this is a very important, it is a decision science component. There is to look at it, what are the components which can impact farmers' expenditure? It can reduce its losses, reduce the expenditure. To look into the public health, farmer health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. These are all verticals. On a farm level, if this is seen on a GIS technology and use of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and blockchain technology, it can ensure optimal nutrition in the soil. And it is a $1 trillion data economy to begin with. According to our Honorable Prime Minister of India, who said it on 29th November 2020 in his Man Ki Baat program, he said it, I quote, our farmers, farm sector, villages are the foundation of self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Related to today's webinar topic, we had the following webinars, which also I would like to quote: sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture. Octosol, organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health. Closing nutrient loop, phosphorus management in protein farming, improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity. Manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity. Nutrition sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmers' income. And artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease. Bayer's carbon farming initiatives. Carbon, a farmer's newest crop, can sequestering carbon in soil help combat climate change. Carbon, a farmer's newest crop, and can sequestering carbon in soil help combat climate change. Doubling farmers' income, empowering through bioenergy farming, and creating a more nutritious and sustainable food supply. Low carbon farming, a win-win prospect. Less carbon, more food. Farming sector offers opportunities for carbon sequestration and emission reduction. Emission from farming contribute to 14% of global greenhouse gases. In India, farming contributes to about 28% of the national greenhouse gases emissions. Low carbon farming practices offer the farmers opportunity to capitalize on the carbon market as they shift to sustainable agricultural methods involving lower input cost and resulting in reduction and sequestration, that is improved soil carbon content of carbon emissions. And we also look into the various nutrient components of the soil which is needed for plant. That is about 16 plant essential nutrients. Carbon, primary nutrients are carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They're all primary nutrient components, and secondary are magnesium and sulfur. And micronutrients are chlorine, iron, zinc, manganese, boron, copper, and molybdenum. And these are all the 16 plant essential nutrients one has to look into it to increase the plant productivity. Soil health today is at a crisis stage. In India, almost 60% of 160 million hectares agricultural land is impaired due to excessive erosion, salinity, and alkalinity. With this introduction, let us turn to the address by the panel of speakers on very important topic: smart tribal farming, precision farming through enhanced efficiency fertilizers for increased yields, greater profits, and higher carbon credits, achieving Sustainable Development Goal 2 and 3. The webinar is on their innovative green wave product. According to their website, I quote from their website, the power of tomorrow today agri-power. One of the most powerful natural mineral-based NPK plus trace elements TE foliar fertilizer on earth. They claim that they help farmers achieve precision farming through enhanced efficiency fertilizer EEF, which creates increased yields and greater profits by reducing nutrient losses to the environment and offering a higher performing alternative to traditional fertilizer. Offering a higher performing alternative to traditional fertilizer. Discussion on participating in a webinar to showcase their product benefits to farmers, government policymakers, and agricultural scientists. These products are recommended for pilot projects to increase yield and growth in agriculture. The webinar aims to highlight the potential of green wave products in enhancing agriculture productivity and sustainability. Today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com, /Shobhit University India, youtube.com /Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com /company /Shobhit University to unlock the potentials in climate smart agriculture and in particular smart tribal farming project area. The secret to doubling the income of farmers lies in the efficiency. And and let me introduce the guest speaker to begin with, Mr. Robert Reese. Mr. Robert Reese, just 1 minute. Now, let me introduce you.
Okay.
Mr. Robert Reese is born in Illinois in a family that was in farming and custom home building. Received his BSBA from the University of Denver in business administration and accounting. Mr. Reese received his MBA from the University of Chicago. Mr. Reese has about 52 years of business experience in numerous industries. He is one of the founders of Greenway Products and is a president and CEO of Greenway Products. And he will be followed by Dr. Marco Thiruselvam. He has got a rich experience to bring in. And Mr. Sami Osman, he may not be able to join today, but I will introduce for the benefit of participants. But Sami Osman is an experienced carbon market and sustainability professional. He did his Bachelor of International Business from Griffith University, and he is A2A carbon CEO. So, and later I will introduce Dr. Marco Thiruselvam when I invite him to talk. Over to Mr. Robert Reese for your talk. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Moni. Appreciate it. It's very nice to, this is my first webinar. I have not done one before, but it is great to be here. I'm pleased to tell you about Greenway products, but most importantly, AgriPower. We are a family operated business, which is all about passionate for farming. And it was my passion for Africa that really got me into this particular field. And as a result of that, we have grown over the years. It's taken us 10 years to develop this product. And AgriPower, as I've always told everyone, AgriPower will never let you down. It will increase output. It will improve the soil. We've turned it into a dry powder. It's really a granular. The beauty in the product is that it's easy to use. As Dr. Moni said, it's a foliar, but it can be applied numerous ways. AgriPower is in Africa, in Kenya, and Senegal, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia, Chad, Cameroon, and we have some operations in the U.S., but most of our activities in the early years here have been in Africa. We are in the midst of an ongoing trial right now in Sri Lanka, and we hope to be in India soon. Our mission is to bring this enhanced efficient fertilizer to farmers all around the globe. And we've been working diligently at that. The increase in yields, I can say that we have not used the product anywhere where we have not seen increase in yields. A news thing of the day, I just learned this from one of my distributors about 5 hours ago. In Kenya, on the tea farms where they were testing, on the hand-picked tea, they had 71% increase in output from the use of agri-power. On the machine-picked tea, they had a 51% output increase. This happens on every crop that we do. And one of the most important things about this particular technology, it will work with some of the new technology in terms of drones. We've used it with drones. It's being used in Africa with drones. Pivot sprayers, boom sprayers, backpack sprayers, which is quite common in a lot of rice fields. Very easy to mix the product. It's 100% soluble in water. So it really easy to use. We use 10 times less fertilizer than standard chemical fertilizers, 10 times. So that's labor is saved, storage space is saved. It's very easy to handle. And we've just developed through Dr. Marco and our guys at the plant, we have a 3 to 5 year shelf life on our fertilizer. And the bag is also resealable so that moisture can't get to it when you're not using it, but it's very simple to just reseal the bag and you will have protected the fertilizer from moisture from outside. See whatever else I'm just checking my notes. So anyway, the other thing is our plant is in Kuala Lumpur. It's been there from the very beginning. And it's where I met Dr. Marco. And at this point, I think I'll turn things over to Dr. Marco. And by the way he got that name is I had to search a very long time for him way back 14 years ago, 5 days of searching in a country I'd never been to. And I found him after 5 days and I ended up naming him Marco and I'm Polo. And it's been a nickname that has stuck with him for all these 14 years. And he's actually adopted it. Everybody calls him Dr. Marco. So anyway, I would like to introduce my partner and one of my very best friends, Dr. Marco.
And Dr. Marco will introduce the film video one, or we will run the video film now.
He should pop up there. There he is.
Okay. Dr. Marco, we welcome. And let me introduce Dr. Marco. Dr. Marco, when I was going through his biodata, I was quite, overwhelmed and impressed. And Mr. Robert Reese and your introductory remarks on the product is quite impressive. And you said it that it's 10 years to develop this product. and it improves the soil health. And it is being, lot of trials are going on in many countries, in African countries. And this university has got a close cooperation with the African Asian Rural Development Organization for promoting agricultural informatics discipline and many other higher studies. And this is in about 18 African countries and 15 Asian countries. It is headquarters in Delhi. This is for your information. Second is that, and you have claimed that it's in output increase, and also that less use of fertilizer, and also shelf life gets increased. It's very important parameters to be looked into it. And let us hear from Dr. Marco. Let me introduce Dr. Marco. Is a scientist with Green Wave Products. He did his PhD in soil science and agricultural chemistry from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, India. And I'm very happy that Mr. Manish has put it. Let me read it out. Dr. Marco Thiruselvam was born in, uh, uh, was born, was born, and he, is in on 7th November 1959, and in a rubber estate in a smaller town called Balo in the southern state of Johor in Malaysia. And his late father, Mohana Sundaram, was then working as a rubber estate supervisor and was frequently posted to other rubber estates, and then had his last posting in rubber estate called Vaulos Estate, where Dr. Marco did his primary schooling and then high school diploma. And he got into University of Malaya in 1979, where he graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering in 1981. He worked in Matsushita Electric and Panasonic as a junior engineer. He worked for about 20 years from 1981 to 2001. He worked in Osaka, Japan for 2 years, and where he completed his bachelor in manufacturing management in JAMA, in Japan in 1997. And he also rose to the rank of general manager and he held that position for 3 years. And then he went to do various business and went into partnership in distribution companies for a fertilizer manufacturer in Malaysia. And in 2008, he set up his own fertilizer distribution company. During this period, he went on to do a degree in soil science in 2006 at University Putra, Malaysia. And he completed his master's in soil science and agricultural chemistry in 2009 with the same university. And and later he completed his thesis in PhD in soil science and agricultural chemistry from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore. After doing extensive R&D, Dr. Marco developed AgriPower fertilizer and started his own fertilizer manufacturing company in 2015 to manufacture AgriPower, and later 2015 he developed the organic repellent and pesticide Agri-X Shield. His passion for nature and plants was instilled while growing up in rubber estates, but only realized his calling later in life for developing fertilizer and pesticides that are non-toxic and safer for the environment and humans. And he is giving his own experiment. While he was waiting for his high school diploma results at the age of 18, he worked temporarily in an oil palm estate where his uncle worked as an accountant, and got him a temporary job as a junior estate conductor where he oversaw fertilization of oil palm trees. And he saw how toxic these fertilizers were, some of them used to burn his finger, their finger, and some of them used to burn his fingers when he came in contact with them. This is where he believes that he drew his inspiration for going into agricultural line later in life. This passion drove him to do extensive research in non-toxic materials and ingredients for fertilizer, and at the same time be more efficient while also regenerating the soil and reversing the damage done by the prolonged use of toxic chemical fertilizer. Very important point to note. He focused on natural mineral and organic based ingredients that do not harm the environment, with near zero runoffs to underwater tables and rivers and coastlines. Dr. Marco also realized the need for a fully organic pesticide or repellent and fungicide that will be safe and non toxic to humans, birds, and bees. AgriX Shield is that realization coming into reality, a product 100% organic and safe. Is currently working on developing a 100% organic herbicide, weed killer, that will be safe and non-toxic to humans, bees, and the bees. With this, I welcome Dr. Marco Thiruselvam to address this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Moni. Thank you for the introduction. And everyone, let me start as I've already been introduced, so no further introduction necessary. Now, let me start with the presentation on the product AgriPower. So let me just go on to open the product info. Okay, as you can see, the product is called AgriPower HGDF. Now, HGDF is the technology that it's behind the name given to the technology behind this proprietary fertilizer. So let me explain further. Now, AgriPower fertilizer is a range of crop nutrition products which feature the proprietary HDF technology. Now, this was developed in 2013. And this unique formulation process delivers user-friendly, low-odor, low-dust microgranules when dissolved in water, has a very uniform molecular structure. And each tiny molecule contains uniform nutrient content for better absorption during application to crops. Because the formulation contains the right amount of nutrients matching the demand of the plant, there is little to no leaching to the environment. Now, due to their distinctive and small molecular structure, AgriPower fertilizers can be foliar sprayed on fruit and vegetable crops, including paddy, wheat, and broadacre grains, and so forth. And also as a top foliar spray dressing on ornamental plants. They can also be used in a very small or very effective, very little amount of dilution necessary for home plants, and very safe. This very small molecular size allows for excellent absorption by leaves, stems, and roots in their soil for consistent feeding. Now, you might wonder when I mentioned roots, because when you apply a foliar application on a plant, you can't avoid putting some on the ground because some will fall on the ground. So this is also partly absorbed by the roots, which also will help in the regenerative methods of improving the flora and fauna by bringing back the colony forming units of beneficial bacteria in the soil, which has always been disrupted by the application of toxic soil applied fertilizers. Now, the benefits of natural mineral source ingredients here is because they are like phosphorus from purely mined sources such as superphosphate, triple superphosphate, or ammonium phosphate, and is as a high pH soil readily leached from peat based. The presence of this this also reduces the pH around the fertilizer molecules while they break down and feed on the organic material in the soil. Now, this cycle takes about 1 or 2 crop cycles before you get more beneficial microorganisms that helps break down the humus, in the soil, which is again beneficial for the plant. Now, this is the product. We have a range of products. I'm just sharing with you the 3 ranges that we use for most crops. The first one is called AgriPower A, which has a NPK value of 20, 29, 24, and 5, and other nutrients like calcium, sulfur, zinc, boron, and all the other trace elements. Then we have the AgriPower B, which is 24, 27, 9, and the last one is the AgriPower B plus, which is 17, 14, 31. Again, this is custom. This is specially made for paddy and also most other crops, vegetable crops, fruit crops, and all that. How it differs, it's the application timing and the amount of fertilizer used for different type of crops. Now, AgriPower HGDF A, B, and B plus is a mineral-based dry powder water-soluble foliar fertilizer. So it's a complete plant nutrition, and we call it a complete plant nutrition and soil rejuvenation system that actually delivers richer quality, healthier produce, and greater yields, and of course, higher profits, which is in line with our topic today. Now, I go to the next slide. Now, these are some of the trials. This is one of the trials, especially I'm highlighting on paddy, because although we have done other trials in other crops and all that, I'm just highlighting paddy because paddy is, especially in Asian countries, is one of the key crop, in terms of grains, as compared to like the Western countries. They are more on wheat. Although India has also produced a very high quantity of wheat, which is also a grain. So it's very applicable to also wheat, because rice and wheat, in the way we apply the fertilizer, it's very similar. Now, this trial was done in Malaysia with the government organization, which does all the trials on field. It's an organization, it's a semi-government called FELCRA. So this was done between 2012 and 2013. So here we did the trials, and I'll just straight go. That's actually me in here, and that's also me. So I'm also a field man. I do a lot of field work together with the farmers and the district officers and so on. So the application is actually quite like what Mr. Robert Reese was saying. We can use drones. We can use like this. We are using boom sprayers. Or like at the bottom part, you can see they are using something called a mobile sprayer, where it's mounted on a small cart with the bike in front, and it's a 200-liter drum with a motorized pump with a long hose, whereas they can cover like 1 hectare in less, like in 3 or 4 minutes, because the speed and the power of the pump. Now, these are some of the results that we obtained. I'll just go straight to the results now. Here in the first season, which is called the high season in Malaysia, like also in India, we have the high and the low season. Now, on the control plot, as you can see, they were already getting about 8.8 tons average. And when we did our trial, in the first go, we got 9.6 tons, which they have never experienced before. Then in the low season, they dropped down to 7.7 tons, which is natural, but we still maintain above 9 tons, 9.5 tons, even in the low season. Then in the subsequent high season, we were able to get 7.7, they were able to get 7.78, and we were able to get 9.21 tons. So averagely, we were 9 tons and above, as their normal average were only below 8 tons. Now, comparison of amount of fertilizers used. Trial plots, AgriPower, we use 12.5 kilograms per hectare per season. Now, this may differ to different countries depending on soil conditions and situations. So it can always be customized based on our initial rice research development trials with the government, and then I will adjust the amount needed depending on the results obtained from the research trials. Then for the control plots, they were using conventional fertilizers like urea, TSP, MAP, and MOP, plus other supplementary fertilizers, about 370 kilogram per hectare per season, which is urea, DAP, MAP, plus supplements. So you can see the stark differences, what Mr. Robert was saying. Ours is about 10 times, in fact, even lower than 10 times, so we use so much less fertilizer, which means we basically reduce the pollution by over 95% in all cases just by using this fertilizer. Now, next, I'll skip this trial. Now, this is the report that we got from the government agency that we did the trial. I'll read out to you what it says. To whom it may concern, sale of AgriPower HGDF in Malaysia. This is to confirm that AgriPower HGDF is registered with that body, the government body, and has been thoroughly tested and in numerous trials for paddy rice. since March 2012 and has been found to be effective and safe for use in land crops like paddy. The product AgriPower HGDF is sold in Malaysia. So that's the thing, the approval letter from the semi-government and also certified by the Foreign Ministry of Malaysia. Now, so that's the presentation on the product. Now, next, I will go into a next slide to explain about I will require Mr. Manish to upload the video, please, the PowerPoint slide. Okay, now here it is. Now, this is the cost comparison per hectare per season. Now, please remember that this is a cost comparison only for Malaysia, so it should not be used as a definitive amount for other countries, but because other countries the cost will vary in terms of fertilizer usage, land preparation, and so on. So, okay, let's look at the input cost. For land preparation, it's about 120 USD. I've converted everything from Ringgit Malaysia to USD, and this is at the time of about 2012, 2013. So now obviously the price would have gone up, the cost of fertilizer prices. Now the seeds cost, this is on direct broadcast, then wheat killer cost, we have pest control cost. So total cost of fertilizer for including foliar fertilizer, which number one is NPK fertilizer, which is urea, MAP, TSP, and so on. Then also they use foliar supplement, and the labor cost, the total comes to about 400 USD per hectare per season. Now their machinery usage cost is about 150 USD. So total management cost or input cost is $895, yielding about 7.76 tons. Now with AgriPower HGDF, which we only used without any other supplements nor any other fertilizers, the cost for land preparation, of course, will remain the same, seed broadcast the same, wheat killer cost same. But the remarkable thing we notice is the pest control cost reduced by about 20%, because AgriPower actually has a lot of benefits. It also strengthens the plant's wall structure, therefore making the plant more resistant to pests. But of course, that doesn't mean that you can totally not use pesticide. You still have to use. It just reduces the usage of pesticide. Now that's another plus point. Now, when you come to the cost, you will see that our cost of AgriPower is, of course, much more than the normal urea and all that put together. But what you see here, the stark difference is the total now comes to $1,055 per hectare per season as compared to $895. Yes, it increases, but the output on the other end is 9.2 tons. So let's go to the next page. Okay, as the next page, you see the savings. Now, per hectare, average yield for normal practice is 7.6 tons, 7.76 tons, and AgriPower HGDF 9.21 tons. So the price of rice at that point, because it varies, so it's not a set figure, so it varies depending on the market. At that time, it was about $450 per ton. It was on the higher side. I believe now it's reduced a bit. But anyway, the gross income, therefore, from 7.76 tons into $450 is $3,492. That's the gross income for the farmers. Now, AgriPower has 4,144 for gross income. Now, the total management cost, therefore, from the previous slide we bring forward is $895 for the normal practice versus $1,055 using AgriPower. Now, the net profit here, as you can see, 3,492 minus 895 is $2,597. And for AgriPower is $3,089. Therefore, the farmers get an extra profit of $492 per hectare per season. So, and when we did 10,000 hectares, of course, the savings is about almost close to $5 million per season. Okay, or if you take into the 2 seasons into account, it's roughly about $9.8 million saved or extra profit for the farmer. in terms of profit, when if they're having a big acreage of land or even 2 acres or 1 acre, you still have a lot of savings. So yeah, and next slide, please. Yeah, okay, so I'll just go through the briefly on the advantages of using agri-power other than what we have went through just now. Of course, you can see as from our trials
Not
as
only briefly, you can explain in detail.
Yep. All right.
Kindly.
Okay. So yeah, so as what Robert was also talking about our trials in Africa, like in the tea and also many other areas, we are experiencing more than 50% minimum increase in yield. I would say the lowest increase in yield we have ever experienced probably was for corn, which we got about 40% increase in yield, which is still tremendously high compared to many other forms of fertilizer usage. Because in order to achieve that kind of yield increase, 40%, they have to increase their input to almost another 40 to 50% to 60%, which again means the cost goes up for the farmer. It's not justifiable in terms of cost. Now, let's go to the advantages of using agri-power. Now, number one, it increases yields tremendously. Like I explained, we have never experienced anything lower than 40%, except for some corn or maize, yeah, about 35, 38, 40. But some, after we adjust the input and we even managed to get more than 50% for maize. Now, number two, it eliminates the use of soil applied NPK fertilizers like urea, TSP, MAP, MOP, and many other straight and conventional fertilizers, and even compound fertilizers for that matter. When I say it eliminates, means you don't have to put anything on the soil. See, this is where we stand out compared to any other fertilizer in the world, because when you don't put anything on the soil, think about the reduction of the impact of toxic waste on soil, and also the reduction of reducing and eliminating runoffs and pollution to underwater tables. Because soil applied fertilizers, no matter whether it's organic or non-organic or chemical fertilizers, you still pollute the soil. Organic fertilizer doesn't mean it's safe. No, it may be considered organic, but organic waste are even more dangerous than toxic waste. If you know, it carries a lot of pathogens and all that can be viruses that can be transferred into underwater tables and polluting our waterways. So a lot of people get carried away with organics, thinking that organic is a safer option. It's how you use the organic product that's important. If you're putting on the soil, then I'm sorry to say that it's the same as using urea, TSP, MOP, if not worse. I've done a lot of research on this, and that's why I came out with a fertilizer that, end of the day, we don't want to harm the soil anymore. The only way we can do that is stop putting anything on the soil, period. Then allow the soil to regenerate, come back, bring back its flora and fauna, the colony forming units of bacteria, the beneficial microorganisms. Then our soil will be sustainable. If you keep putting anything on the soil, be it organic, be it toxic, or whatever stuff you're putting on the soil, you can never run away from the fact that the soil will never recover. Right? So if you want to recover, yes, you can. You have to do a lot of recovery methods for the soil, but that's cost intensive and time intensive. Right. Now, next one. It also reduces the use of pesticides from about 15 to 20%, which also reduces the toxic impact on soil. So when we use this over 1, 2, 3, or 4 crop cycles, the farmers will see that they will not have to use the same amount of pesticides. They can keep reducing the pesticides, because the plants will naturally have their immune system become stronger, because we are giving the plant what it needs rather than giving the plant something that it doesn't need. Now, when I say that is that because from a lot of research done in the US especially, and a lot of research papers done in the US on soil applied fertilizers versus foliar application, soil applied fertilizers, only 20 to 25, maximum 30% is taken up by the soil, by the plant. The rest, you're talking about 70 to 80% being leached into the ground. That is why, like in Sri Lanka or in, I don't know, like in Malaysia, they're using 300 over kilograms of fertilizers per hectare. If you go back into history, maybe 60 years ago or 70 years ago, when first urea was introduced way back in the 1900s and all that, they were using maybe 20 kg or even less per hectare. And it worked fine. But what happened? Why are we putting so much of urea and TSP on the soil and ruining our soil? And this is not a short-term thing. This has been going on for the last 60 years, and we have made our soil so bad that no matter what we do to the soil right now, we cannot change it unless we stop putting anything on the soil. That is the only solution that I saw, and that's why I developed this fertilizer, where we can feed the plant in a different way. Plant takes up nutrients anyway through roots or through the leaves, the stems, the whatever part of the foliage it will take up. When you apply it at the right time, especially when the stomatas are open, especially in the early morning or the late, the late afternoon when the sun is not too strong. So that, and also our product is based on a nanotechnology granular system, where and it's also coated, by the way, with a very special coating technology that will only activate the fertilizer when you put it in the soil, or when you put in the water to dilute. Then when you spray, you get the maximum absorption within about 20-25 minutes. It's already absorbed. After spraying, you can see it is fully absorbed. Unlike a lot of foliar applications, supplements and all that, a lot of them just drop off, from the leaves. Now, the other thing is that AgriPower, why is it also safe, is because it's made from non-toxic materials and will not have any harmful impact on the soil and underwater tables. When I say this, because can I go back to the slide? When I say this, when we spray or foliar spray, about 80% is on the plant, about 15 to 20% is on the soil. Whatever falls on the soil, we have in the product growth hormones, cytokinins, gibberellins, which I put inside, and also many other growth regulators, which are in the fertilizer, that helps the soil propagate, regenerate the soil microorganisms slowly over time, and therefore bringing back the flora and fauna. And therefore, eventually, let's say we start up with 15 kg per hectare per season, but over 2 or 3 cycles, you can start reducing even that amount, right? So that is how we start to slowly bring back the soil condition, sustainable, towards a sustainable agriculture. But this is not done in one season. It will take probably 2-3 seasons before the soil flora and fauna slowly comes back, brings back a lot of the beneficial microorganisms, which will do a lot of the work for us, for the plant, instead of putting a lot of fertilizers. For example, biological nitrogen fixation, which is a very key feature in a natural plant, fertilization, because these microbes, they will basically take the nitrogen from the air and convert it through their system and make it into inorganic nitrogen for the plant to take up. So that again will reduce our use of fertilizer over long term. We have done a lot of damage over the last 60-70 years by using soil applied fertilizers. So it is not a magic fix. By using AgriPower and not putting anything on the soil, we will definitely go towards a more sustainable agriculture in the long term. Probably in about 1-2 years, we will get more earthworms, more microorganisms that are so beneficial for the soil, which will actually make the soil more fertile. See, this is the whole idea of AgriPower HGDF. So yeah, with that, I close my my presentation. So thank you. If there's any questions, I'm open to. Professor Moni, your mic is mute.
Thank you very much. Mr. Manish, can you uh, make Professor Patil and Mr. Jeremiah and Professor Mahendesh Patil to put online? I welcome Dr. Shirish Patil, Professor Mahendesh Patil. Can you also put Mr. Robert Reese on
Yeah.
screen? Okay, welcome, Professor Mahendesh Patil. Can you put your video on? And Mr. Hello, Mr. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Good afternoon.
very nice of you. And let me, and I'm very happy that Mr. Robert Rees and Dr. Marco Thiruselvam, he did his PhD in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, and he had a wonderful, experience. And you have listened to his product and the characteristic and also the results data. You are all veteran in the field, and how do you look at it, this product? Because we are now bringing in the especially I am focusing on digital technology in agriculture, in in bringing out more than doubling the farmers income, means productivity increase, and then income increase. And now also that how to get, because anything on sustainable land use management will bring in sustainable agriculture. It means it will bring in necessary carbon credit for farmers. That one carbon credit means $40 to $80. That so now, how you look at it today's, it may be an initial presentation, and as Mr. Robert Rees said it, that even though it is being a lot of trials are being undertaken in many countries in Africa and also Sri Lanka and Malaysia. They have done it, and I would like to have your feedback and also interact with Mr. Robert Rees and Dr. Marco elaborately. We have enough time. We got another 45 minutes, so that it benefits the technology which they have developed, the product which is available, which is also is being utilized in different parts of the country, how we look at it. Because now here also we are trying to promote natural farming, regenerative agriculture, zero budget farming, and we also ready to would like to reduce the chemical fertilizer. And but we have to look into food security and nutrition security. And these are all the components, and some of the projects which we have now, you are all involved, that 1,42,000 tribal villages are there where we would like to have smarter tribal farming, and they have not gone for chemical fertilizers so far. But but the but the the cost figure is seems to be not that much comfortable. But his output figure is between uh, you know uh, you know 7.75 tons for using conventional fertilizer to 9.21 tons by using this technology, this product, nanotechnology products. How will you look at it? Let us. I would like to request to start with Professor Mahantis Patil to introduce to the audience. Professor Mahantis Patil was a former professor from the University of Agriculture Science, in Raichur, Karnataka, and he took voluntary retirement after putting more than 2 decades of academic and research. And now he is set up his own NGO that is called Ayodhya Crop Academy, and we both of us work very closely and to bring in technology at the grassroots level. And he is also involved in almost all as a mentor and advisor in the smart tribal farming project in many parts of the country. Dr. Sirish Patil, he has been already in the group, and he is one of the veterans once again. And he's also associated with the smarter tribal farming in Palghar district and other parts of the country. And yesterday we had a detailed discussion in our weekly meeting, and I'm getting overwhelmed to the way in which, under the leadership of Dr. Shresh Patil, that project is moving ahead. So over to Professor Mahendis Patil, how do you look at this product? Because in your, you are also in, agriculturist, and also did your, formal science program in agriculture science, researcher, and now you are in the extension programs. And how do you look at it? Over to Professor Mahendis Patil. Take your own time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I'm very happy to hear to Robert and Marco about their products and the principle involved in getting that product to reach to farmers in a better way. Because and also good afternoon to Patil sir also. So here the thing is, I am basically a plant pathologist. Okay. And you have took a crop which I have worked more on that particular paddy crop for my
Okay.
projects and my students. Yeah, because our district, it is Koppal district in Karnataka, it has got paddy as the sole crop. Big, big parcels are there in paddy crop, and as well as other pulse and oilseeds and horticulture crops are there. And when I was researching on my precision agriculture project in 2010, okay, and we are guided by Dr. Raj Khosla of Colorado State University. I went there for postdoc in precision agriculture, wherein we have taken 100 acres of each crop in paddy, pigeon pea, and cotton on the farmer participatory mode approach. And we have gone for the soil test based crop recommendation. So there we have done a lot of soil testing, GIS mapping, and kriging, everything we have done. Then based on the availability of the nutrients there, we have gone for the fertilizer application uh, by using the site-specific nutrient management aspect. We have used LCC, we have used the green seeker of Trimble. So we have done a demonstration mode. It was actually true to this thing. It's a demonstration mode. It went for almost 3 years. It was funded by Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana that time for some 3 crores. So anyhow, as you mentioned, very interesting point that I have not heard from anybody that Dr. Marco mentioned is the wastage of the organic fertilizers and pesticides in the soil. That is a very important issue that he has touched. Actually, in the name of organic or natural farming or regenerative farming, etc., people are dumping anything in the name of organic to soil, organic to plant, organic to post harvest, but nobody knows what happens next, isn't it? So there must be some residue for any product, either organic or inorganic, whatever it may be. But you should not harm that particular niche. That is very important, isn't it? So we should not make soil as the trash bag of our own
Yeah.
activities, isn't it? It should not be a dustbin for everything that we dump in the name of farming or food production. So
Correct.
in that context, what I have heard from you about Agri Power, it is a wonderful product. Uh, uh, just I wanted to know whether it is a blended product or it is totally interwoven product. For example, NPK, all the three are there, which are drawn from the organic minerals. Are they just
Yes.
admixtures or they really woven, I mean, impregnated each other during the process of manufacturing? That
Yeah.
I
They
wanted to
are.
know.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Mahentesh, Professor
Yeah.
Patel. Okay. So how the blend? Of course, it is blended. At the same time, it is also coated. The technology of coating, so that when they are in the granule or the powder form, they don't interact, because it is done
Okay.
in a very low, very small molecular structure, more of a nanotechnology, and it's coated. So when you coat them individually, of course, it's a difficult process, but that also extends the shelf life, number one. And it only is activated, or the coating comes off after when you make put in the water and dilute it with water, and then you apply. Then the plant or the foliage absorbs it in a very I would say our absorption rate is very close to 90-95% compared to most foliar fertilizers, which is not an easy thing to do for most foliar applied fertilizers, because a lot of them just don't get absorbed. They just drop onto the ground, and so it is a mixture of blending and also putting these elements together in a more how to say conducive way, and they don't interact with each other. Yeah, of course. Other than the NPK basic, I have put in secondary elements, MgO, magnesium, oxide, and then I also have zinc sulfate, which is very crucial for paddy and all that, which I realized over the years, and also iron, okay, copper, calcium, boron, and other trace elements, even molybdenum in small quantities. Molybdenum is actually a heavy metal in a sense, but even in high levels, it can also disrupt the plant growth. So these are very, very minute amounts, which the plant needs in very minute amounts. So you don't have to apply separately boron or calcium or whatever. It is a power pack fertilizer. Everything's built into one. And of course, I have the 3 versions because the first part is for the vegetative growth. That's why the nitrogen levels are pretty high. Okay. And then I don't put the K too much, only about 5% potassium. The phosphorus is quite needed also. Some people say not needed, but I believe you still need a certain amount of phosphorus even in the early vegetative growth. Then in the second part of the fertilizer, which is called the B, it has a slightly reduced nitrogen, but not totally reduced, because still the vegetative growth is going on. It's a middle stage. You still need a good level of nitrogen. But then I increase the phosphorus, because that stage you need a higher phosphorus content. And I increase a little bit of the potassium. If you see, it goes from 5 to 9%. Then the third part is after flowering and fruiting, which is the reproductive stage. In this stage, I have reduced the nitrogen significantly and maintain the phosphorus at a slightly lower level, but the potassium goes up to 31%. So in a foliar fertilizer, to have 31% potassium is actually quite unheard of, because it's not easy to make that kind of levels. And still having all the other trace elements, micronutrients, secondary elements and everything, but in different ratios according to what's required at that stage of growth. So that's how I created this fertilizer. But this went through a series of versions. I had the previous version was like what Robert was saying, was a liquid fertilizer. There was just one. And then Robert used to tell me, you are just shipping water. It's a waste of money to just ship water overseas, So then I decided, he said, can't you make it into something, more lighter and, like a granular or whatever. So then I decided to, research and go into making into a more powder form and more soluble. And that's where the coating comes in. So that, the shelf life now extends to about 3 to 5 years. You can keep it for even 5 years or longer. I mean, we put there 5 years, but some of the people in Africa, they've kept it for over 6 years. Still it works. 7 years, still it works the same. So, but we don't want to, say it's 7 or 8 years, because it's a bit too stretchy. So then, then I developed the first version of the granular or the powder form, which was A and B. So which has high nitrogen on the beginning part, moderate P and very low K. And then the second one, the B, was having low nitrogen, medium phosphorus, and high potassium. So then I realized that it is not as simple as that. So like paddy and all that, you have to break down to at least 3 stages, So that's when I came into this. And this is very adaptable, because like for paddy, use A, B, and B plus at different stages, right? Or wheat or any grains. But when it comes to vegetables and fruit crops, you don't have to use the A. You just use the B plus, the B and the B plus. So it's adaptable. So I made the fertilizer adaptable for different crops. So that's how the story is. Right.
Yeah, actually, just to
Just
explain about
Professor
our paddy condition.
Professor Patil, just 1 minute. And please let us welcome Mr. Jeremiah Rajaneshan. He is CEO of Donavar Fellowship, and he practices, organic agriculture in a land of about 82 acres of land. And I was born very near to that area in which they are having a farm field in Tirunelveli district, and it comes under smart rainfed farming area. And he has from the beginning, this fellowship is utilizing organic fertilizer, not the chemical fertilizer. And he's also delivered a very important the in the international webinar series. And in that we have taken 16 villages as a pilot village, which is a village in the rainfed area, and to go for a complete smart agriculture. So that's why I requested him to join. And Mr. Jeremiah, please listen to other people, and then you see that how you would like to look at this product. Professor Patil, yes.
Yeah, please continue, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Actually, to take some more situation in our paddy farming here is basically our
Professor
farmers
Patil,
they
you
go for
adjust your
transplanted
camera.
paddy.
You adjust your camera. You adjust your camera. You are
Okay.
vertically split. Okay, because professor has to be seen by the people.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, paddy it is grown here under transplanted condition because your recommendation what I have seen is for direct seeded rice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
So
works for
here
both.
our farmers they do
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Our
works for both.
farmers, depending on the reservoir capacity, yeah, rainfall and reservoir capacity, they do follow generally over the years, a decade. If you take 99%, it is transplanted. And
All right.
second thing is against the recommendation of water usage, it is very very low here. WE is very
Oh,
very weak because against the recommendation of 1500 liters to get 1 kg of rice, our farmers they do go for more than 5000 liters of water because water is
okay.
available in plenty. That is second
All
thing.
right.
And the third thing is the application of fertilizers, okay, NPK in the split form, either
Mm.
urea or SOP or POP MOP, it is higher than the university recommendations because I
Mm.
don't know whether the fertilizers they don't work according to their concentration they mentioned in the bag, or
Mm.
the soil requirement or the existing NPK condition in the soil will not match to the application. This we don't know.
Yes.
Therefore, we did a
Yeah.
fertilizer program by taking into stakeholders into consideration. We had a series of meetings over 1 year. What is your perspective to save your soil? Because crop is a currency here, paddy
Yeah.
especially is a big currency for the farmers. So when we tried this one, we could understand that water, fertilizer, and the resistance in the plant they are interconnected, isn't it? If you
Yes.
more go
Yes.
for more water, it demands more nutrition. Okay,
Yep.
the more nutrition that we call imbalanced nutrition, the more
Yep.
the pest and the disease incidence. See,
Correct.
this way we could study many more researchable issues into that. Then we'll come to know that, yeah, let us do some soil test based approach, so that every season or once in 2 years we have two seasons here paddy. One is
Yeah.
in kharif, another one is the rabi bar summer, depending on the reservoir filling. So we did that and we could find totally potash was fixed in the soil. Okay, more than the recommendation, potash was there in the soil. Then we
Mm.
used the all potash solubilizing bacteria, their consortia.
Mm.
One in between one season, we have put only the consortia to that soil.
Mm.
Then next season, the potash was totally consumed by the consortia, and farmers are quite happy. Yes, sir, our potash is utilized. See, this utilization efficiency, we need to take a very big program on that. As you told, it varies with the countries, the regions, the soils, and the farmer practice, and the type
Yep.
of the rice growing pattern.
Right.
Okay, whether it is
Variety and
submerged
pattern.
or direct seeded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this way, definitely, I wish to take up if Robert and you agree upon, and the Dr. Moni sir suggest. definitely there is an opportunity to work on your product in our area, especially paddy, because
All right.
our farmers are now totally tired. Okay, because their pockets are torn away already because of the cost of the cultivation, what they are
Mm.
putting against the procuring the fertilizers, pesticides. Okay, and the very broken market. So
Yeah.
there is enough scope. I feel your agree products, whatever they are there, either it's a pesticide or a fertilizer, definitely, because nowadays everybody knows it. Our nano urea is taking in a large scale in India. Okay,
Yeah.
but I have my own reservations about the nano urea as a scientist, as a student of agriculture. Okay, I don't want to
I
comment
agree.
here, but the way, okay, the delivery system, okay, the timing of application, and the receptivity of the plant to accept it or the reject it, it is in question. Okay, so
Yep.
drones will come, definitely nano things will be there, but how to get it equipped to the plant, okay, to get it according to the plant need, that is very
Yep.
important, isn't
Correct.
it? We don't have
Yes.
proper irrigation system, we don't have proper water management system. Okay, and we are in the subtropical belt. Definitely there is a lot of challenges when a
Mm.
farmer goes to the field. Okay, even some social problems are also there, getting the labor done, okay, on time availability, there are so many issues. Okay, although products are good, but because of the improper management in the delivery system, product
Mm.
gets very wrong coating at the end. Okay, this way, let us plan, okay, in a project mode, whatever you suggest, in a partnership
All
mode,
right.
as my academy works for the farmers in the agro advisory. I also
All
look
right.
for different kinds of inputs
All right.
to get adopted by my farmer. Okay, recently I have used the avail, fertilizer enhancer, to get mixed with the DAP to get into the
Mm.
application. Avail of the Verdasian,
All
because
right.
I have read that literature and I have gone through that research. So I have recommended my farmer to, whenever you use DAP, you must use the avail with that. So this
Mm.
way we want to more, okay, we want to improve upon, we want to enhance that nutrient use efficiency by the farmer. Okay, let us
Okay.
bypass their ignorance. Okay, let us
Yes.
bypass their ignorance of the technology. But we know the technology,
Yes.
we need to develop a program. Okay, and just ask him to follow it up, that's all. Okay, no other queries into that. The same
Okay.
case,
All
either
right.
it is a tribal or a non-tribal farmer, farmer is a farmer. Okay,
Yep.
so this way, yeah, definitely I'm very happy today for giving me opportunity to talk to you both and to understand the new molecules, isn't it? Every day it is changing in agriculture. Okay,
Yes.
plus digitalization of entire process will give a better traceability of what we are doing to the climate,
Yeah.
isn't it? We need to save the crop
Yes.
one side, another side is the climate. Okay, both are
Right.
important for us. So this way your products definitely they will fit into system. Let
All
us
right.
devise a strategic plan how best we
All
can
right.
go with this. I can bet you that it can be done very an effective and very researchable way in our area. That
Okay.
much I wanted to say. Thank you, and all
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much, Professor Patil, and you were very, as usual, that academic research and extension components, and that's why you quit the job and set up your own extension academy, and I'm very happy about that. And whatever you said it, I think it will be very nice that if we can put it in a form of a note, so that it can. You said it about strategic plan, we have to work it out. You also said it that you are ready to go for a project mode. So that's why Shobhit Institute, our in the Center for Agricultural Informatics and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies of the university, and the that our smart tribal farming project coordination, I'm going to make it as a national empowered body with all of you, and your academy. We will be in a position to have this project operationalization through a strategic plan. It's very important. I'm very happy that even though I'm trying to do so many experimentations today, I thought that let me bring people like you to have a discussion and it worked very well. I'm very happy about that. It's good that many points have come out, but still it is a long way to go, and let us do that. And let us hear from Dr. Shirish Patil. Dr. Shirish Patil.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hi.
To begin with, respected Moni sir, Robert, Dr. Marco, and other dignitaries in the forum. I knew about this product, but I was happy to hear from Robert and Dr. Marco in detail about the product to understand all its technicalities, how it's made, its benefits, particularly in terms of sustainability of agriculture, not adding to the pollution that is caused in the soil and the underwater table, underground water table, and the environment. Not causing the pollution is a big win for us. So I understand that. I also understand the increase in yield it causes, at least 50% in various crops that Dr. Marco spoke about. It's admirable, it's praiseworthy, and that is something which we are aiming to bring in to the farmers of India, particularly tribal farmers, where the productivity is very low. And this productivity is low because of unproductive soils and also because they are not using much fertilizers. Now, if they use the conventional fertilizers, the downside is that they will cause pollution to the Mother Earth. So your products would be tailor-made for them, where they can use it on their crops and reap the benefit without causing any harm to the environment. I appreciate this fact. Now, what I would like to know from you is the costing of these fertilizers, particularly the agro power A, B, and C, vis-a-vis the chemical fertilizers that we use. For example, if they have to use the urea, superphosphate, and other things, if they use that, and against that, if they use your products, would that bring in certain reduction in the cost that they incur? That is question number one. I would like to hear from Marco on that. Then I'll come to the other question.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shirish Patel. Yeah. All right. On the subject of cost, now it is like this, like what I presented on the slides. When you compare apple to apple, of course, agri-power is let's say per kilo or per ton. Of course,
I don't
agri-power
want the price of the product. I
yeah.
just want to know whether it would cost less, more, or the same.
Well, it wouldn't cost the same. It'll cost more, but the output is justified in terms of the output being more. So then the total input cost becomes less.
Okay, understood,
Yeah.
understood,
Yeah.
understood.
I think
Always
Robert can expound on
Yeah,
that.
and I can add a little bit there because we have a lot of experience in Africa right now, where we typically are above the existing fertilizer, maybe 10%, 15% above it. But like I mentioned earlier, we're getting people with outputs 70% more, 50% more, 25% more. We have a sugarcane company in East Africa that he said, if you can get me 10%, I will put this fertilizer on every place we grow in the world for 10. So it really, we deal with, in Africa too, we deal with a lot of corporate farms in East Africa, not so much in West Africa. But output is output. And getting that output covers a lot of price difference.
Yeah.
Understood,
Okay.
Robert. Understood. Means it would agreed it costs 10% more, but that 10% would be offset by the 70% excess production that they're getting by using your products, plus
Yes.
the sustainability of their farms and agriculture.
Yeah.
Well,
That is a
this is
big,
actually
big.
for, yeah, excuse me for when Sammy not being here. He's our ATO carbon guy, and he's actually on our advisory board for our company. But one of the nice things too that comes with agri-power, the mere use of agri-power gets you carbon credits.
Yeah.
Nobody else gets that. Okay. So then once you get into in paddy, monitoring the amount of water that's being used, that lowers carbon uh, being sent up into the air also. So we are the beginning of repairing Mother Earth. It has to start like Marco said. We got to stop dumping things on everything on the soil. We had 10,000 acres when I was growing up, and we had the standard urea and all the other stuff. We now 40 years later, they're using twice, three times as much, even four times, just to get the same output. Can't do that anymore. We're ruining the earth, and we really have to stop it. And you got to start somewhere.
Yes,
Yes.
looking at that point, serving the Mother Earth and increasing the sustainability of the agriculture and the soil, Indian government that is currently giving subsidy to chemical fertilizers like urea should turn this subsidy from the chemical fertilizers towards these sustainable fertilizers because they are benefiting the environment and they're benefiting the earth and enhancing the sustainability of agriculture. That is
Especially.
something which I would request Professor Moni to take forward because he is in touch with all the policymakers, the government bodies, and the Ministry of Agriculture. He is the right person to take this message of ours to them.
No, it's
Another
very
thing,
nice. Just 1 minute, and it is a very important point that the webinar will should generate a policy draft. With all of you. Now it's very good that Mr. Jeremiah has joined. He is as a person who is on the grassroots level, and Dr. Shiresh Patil and Professor Mohandas Patil and Dr. Marco and Mr. Reese. If this webinar can generate a draft policy paper, it is well and good. I'll be very happy. And it is an important point. And he said, Dr. Mahanthis Patil said it that he is ready to experiment. It means that the man who worked for more than 25 years and he is a plant pathologist, and he understand the the intrinsic features of many things that which goes below the earth. And also that Dr. Siris Patel, with your vast experience, yes, it is very important, and we would like to bring out this aspect in a very big manner in our draft report. Very nice. Kindly carry on, Dr. Patel.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's a very beneficial product, and as Robert has said, he has covered almost the entire of Africa with this product for various crops. Now, just like Africa, India is also a country with diverse agriculture, diverse agroclimatic zone, diverse crops. So, in terms of the diversity of the crops, uh, I would like to know which or other crops can it be used in. Dr. Marcos said initially that it could be used in grain crops such as rice, wheat, corn. and then also ornamental plants and house plants. But I would like to know from him how useful it is on vegetable, fruit, and other plantation crops like coffee, banana, and maybe cocoa and other fruit crops.
Yes. Okay. So I mentioned those crops in the presentation, but for crops like other than the crops mentioned, AgriPower works in almost all crops. For vegetables, it works wonders because we only use very little of the product, very, very little. And yet it produces so much of foliage like green vegetables or tomatoes, chilies, brinjals, capsicum, bell peppers, and whatnot. They are remarkable on vegetables. This product
Marco, I have to jump in on that one. If you're using this on tomato plants, we've always tell people drive a stake in the ground next to the plant so you can tie it to it because it will I mean, this is literal.
Yeah.
It will produce so many tomatoes, it will fall over.
Yeah.
It literally will fall over.
The stem is not
I've
strong
had it
enough.
happen 10 times to people go, I can't believe it. They just so many.
Yeah, it works across all crops. Beautiful on vegetables, especially fruiting vegetables, and like savi or cabbage and all this green, also green vegetables, broccoli,
Lettuce.
name it. It is just, and you don't use a lot.
Yeah.
Use very little, and just foliar apply. It's remarkable.
That's nice. That's nice. So in India, it can be used because
yeah, I'm able to see the smile from Dr. Patil because, and we are trying to get some solution for our smarter tribal farming project components because we are trying to empower the tribal farmers who have got very small land size, and it's very important. It's good that you brought it out very clearly, but in the note it has to come all the commodities, agriculture commodities where it can get benefit out of it is has
Yeah.
to come out very clearly. Yes, Dr. Patil. Yes.
and I was very happy to see the very graphic presentation, very expressive presentation from Robert. He literally made me see a tomato plant in front of me, laden with those fruits and tied to that single stick that he had driven into the ground.
It's true.
So, yeah. So another
Very
question of mine is to Robert and Dr. Marco. What is the source of these chemical nutrients that we are talking about? The nitrogen, phosphorus, potash. If you don't mind disclosing, is it organic or is it chemical?
Well, it is a combination. It is an organo-mineral product.
Okay, okay.
It's
Why I
termed,
asked this is, yeah, yeah.
it's termed
Yes, Dr. Marco.
organo-mineral. The mineral part are all natural minerals, like naturally mined minerals, rather than petrochemical based product, like urea and all that. This is actually natural mined minerals. We still get potassium nitrate, which is naturally mined in the Chilean mines and so on. They are more expensive, but that's what makes the fertilizer special. If you're going to use any chemical, product like chemically produced urea or nitrogen and all that, it doesn't work that well. Because and also even in the production of urea, all these chemical fertilizers, you are talking about a lot of waste. And not only that, in this chemical production, when they do the process of producing petrochemical based urea, TSP, MAP, they have heavy metals in them. See, heavy metals, all the suppliers and all that get it tested, and their test report says they are below 0.2 ppm or below 2 milligram per kg, not detectable and all that. That's fine. But there are still heavy metals. They will be present in very small, minute amounts. But nobody goes further to think about, oh, if I'm going to put 360 kg of fertilizer on the soil every season, year after year, for many years, don't you think that concentration of the heavy metals will start to build up in the waterways? It will. Nobody talks about it. The big boys don't want to talk about it because they will always show you the report. We did a test report with the ISO certified 17025 lab, and it shows and not detectable, but there is very minute amounts, right? And they're not putting 100 grams, which they tested, or per kg. They're putting 360 kg. So 2 milligrams multiplied by 360 kg, that's a big number. That's a big number. So when you multiply by 2 seasons, multiply by over the years, the buildup is in the water. So I can tell you, if you check any water in any country, any waterways, any rivers today, for heavy metals, you find heavy metals, which are alarming. But they never blame the chemical companies because everybody is scared.
Very true. And they have a big lobby working for them, and
Yeah,
they would not let this point come up for their own benefit.
no, they won't. Even like
Well,
Robert will tell you,
yeah,
Robert experienced in Hawaii when he was testing, the big boys actually kind of threatened him and they ruined the
oh
business.
my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
they have
okay, okay.
deep pockets.
Now,
They have deep pockets.
let us be soft on that because it's a live telecast. Will be seen by,
All right,
it is meant
let's not
for
take it
academic and
anymore.
research and startup programs. And quoting this, the big brothers should not even file a case against us. So I'm disclaiming it. Disclaimer,
All right.
so that it's
Yeah, yeah,
okay. Thank you.
yeah.
And yeah, is
Well,
there any other?
coming back, one question from my side, Dr. Moni. Again, understood that it will not cause any ground pollution or nothing. But since it is directly applied on the plant, and when we consume the plant, does it leave any residue of any excess nutrient or any excess residue in the plant which could harm the human body on consumption of the fruit part of or the seed?
Maybe I'll ask Robert to explain that. You can quote.
Are you talking about the new harvest?
No, he.
No, what I meant to say is when we apply this agri power directly to the plant, onto the leaves or to the fruit parts of the plant, obviously they would be absorbed and go into the system, into the leaves, into the flowers, into the fruits. Now, how long does it take to degrade? And once the fruit is harvested, and if it is consumed, does it have any residue that could cause harm to the humans on consumption?
No, nothing. Not at all. I mean, ours is so pure to begin with. It really, there's really nothing. I mean, Marco, you probably can address it more, but our fruits and vegetables and things are, washed normally, and anything would come off the
Okay,
fruit.
and since it's applied on the leaves and the plant, any symptoms of phytotoxicity, the plants being burnt or harmed or any way?
No, as long as you apply according to the correct dilution, of course, you don't put too much. Of course, if you put too much, any foliar application too much will cause burn spots and all that. That's for sure. So that's why this fertilizer, the directions of applications, mixing how much with how many liters of water is very crucial. So that we don't go to that. In fact, even if you over fertilize, it won't cause phytotoxicity and all that. Okay. Yeah. The one more point that I want to mention is that in the initial stages of development, this fertilizer, people always will ask, is it toxic or not? Like you asked, will it be toxic to humans and all that? My demonstration is always very simple. I will always mix it and take a little bit of sip and drink it. to show how safe it is. If it is safe for humans, it is safe for everyone. And I'm still alive and strong.
But your hair,
Well,
you
and
don't have
we've
your
used
hair
it.
is not there. Your hair
No, my
is
hair
not
was
there.
on before that, before even I started this. So,
Yeah,
so
Very
it
nice.
can be used hydroponically also. We did a bunch of lettuce grows that were all indoor with fish in the water and all that, and our fertilizer was in that water. It doesn't affect the fish at all.
Okay. And is there any other points to be made, Dr. Patil?
No, sir. I'm really very happy to know about this product. It's an excellent product that is natural in origin, will not cause any harm to the environment. That is my biggest concern. I have always been a very staunch supporter of healthy environment and protecting the Mother Earth. And in that context, this product is excellent. And when we come to know that it enhances the productivity by 50 to 70%. There cannot be more that one can ask for. It is also not much expensive, just 10% more than the conventional fertilizers. But that 10% is offset by the high production that we get. So, all in all, I'm very happy. I congratulate Robert and Dr. Marco for bringing in such a good product. My only reason to not be very happy is that why did they not come to India much before this? When they could reach Africa in 1992, why not in India?
I
Professor
think,
Moni was not there at that time
Africa
in the
was
field.
2014.
yeah,
Okay.
Moni was not there to coordinate all this.
No, believe me, we
Okay,
spent a
very
lot of
nice.
time and money figuring this out.
No, it will happen. Everything to happen in India, we believes it good time and good day. It has to come, and it is never late, and it is everything to come. It has to take place in right time. Thank you very much. Now let me invite Mr. Jeremiah Rajaneshan. Mr. Jeremiah, hello. Yes. You
Yes, sir, yes.
you listened to all the experts, and also hope that you listened to his presentation also previously. Now, Mr. Jeremiah is a mechanical engineer, and his habit is weather forecast, and he is an CEO of more than 100, 25 years of institution. It is a missionary institution. It is established by a big missionary, Madam Carmichael, and we call it as Missy Amma, and she has done a lot of work at the grassroots level from 1905 onwards, and he carries on that legacy, and they have initiated with orphanage and so on and so forth. Now with senior people home, and they give only nutritious food, and from the beginning, and they have documented when they purchase the land from the farmers to feed their inmates. They documented the agriculture practices of the farmer, and still now they are doing this organic farming, and we are now going to have a pilot project on smart rainfed farming based on his farm, which has got about 82 acres, belongs to the Donauer Fellowship, with one village pond exclusively comes under their rights. And to give the benefits to the society, we are also including other 15 villages. Over to Mr. Jeremiah, that you listen to experts' view and the two professors' input. How you look at it?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this webinar, sir.
And adjust your camera. Adjust your camera that it's vertically
Are you
split.
able to see me now?
No,
That way.
you have to go this side. Okay, good. Okay,
There you
good.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this. I'm sorry I was not able to join you from the beginning. Anyway, from what I heard, I think this is what we need at this time, because we are living in the tropical areas. We are exposed to a lot of variations in climate. That's what we have been experiencing right now. The frequency of intense events are increasing. So, and also we are unable to predict a lot of erratic events. For example, our annual average rainfall is around 33 inches. Last year we received 82 inches. So there are so many things happening, and also the intensity of showers are increasing. So we have been practicing what do you say, like sustainable type of agriculture all these years, because we don't use deep bore wells, or we don't use extract water and bring it from some other place and cultivate here. We every year we plant according to whatever bounty God has given us in the previous monsoon. That's how we plan our planting calendar, and we generally prefer open well irrigation. And the open wells are recharged by mountain water, which is stored in some lakes, small lakes, which is totally rain fed. So, but all around us, we are seeing people going for very deep bore wells and extracting water unsustainably, and gradually it ends up in failure. And also the usage of chemicals, and we generally use circular economy. We have a dairy farm, and we use our own cattle dung and other farmyard manure, and we try to use that. And we extensively use green manure also, which is locally grown. And and weeding is one area where we find it's very difficult. So because we are not using any weedicides or anything, and because we don't get any manual labor right now for weeding, so, and for excessive mechanization also, the cost of diesel, petrol is going up. So weeding is also, we find it very difficult. And the last most more important point is Professor Mahantesh told me the exact amount of nutrients what the plant need when they need. That is still we need to improve on that, and also the receptivity of the plants and soil. That we are still in the dark in many areas in that. So we just go by trial and error, and especially with this climate change and this. I think we definitely need more technology integration in the grassroots level. And I am really amazed by this product also. We'll be happy to introduce that in our area. And as Sir said, we here most of us use transplanted seedlings for paddy, and here the villages they give so much excess nutrition to paddy. They don't go by the university recommendations, and that ends up in the soil as residue. And so we need the technology integration, the actual dissemination to the field. That is very important. That is the weak link in the whole system. And once the crop is grown, that marketing also, we have a lot of bottlenecks, and most of the farmers are in the clutches of middlemen. For example, we grow a special variety of banana, which we have to tend for nearly 13 months, 13 to 14 months. But the premium we get is very, very low, because the middleman comes here and they take it to a marketplace and they keep it for overnight, and they sell it for nearly very huge profit. But what we get is what we get for 10 to 11 months, he gets in just one overnight. So, and also we cannot entirely blame those people, and the mindset of farmers also has to change, because they have to group together, they have to look towards the common good, and farmers groups are now being formed, but there is not much even functional unity among the farmers because of a lot of social issues. So if they are united, I think then they can have good bargaining, and they can have good processing plants, they can have good value addition parts in our local areas. And for this, the unity among farmers is one of the grave issue. Even though the government is willing to do anything, a lot of schemes end up in failure. So that also, maybe through Professor Moni's initiative, we are planning to integrate this smart rain-fed technology to the surrounding villages. So as far as fertilizer is concerned, I think this product, we can try this, and over and above that, the the need for each plant at different stages, and good weather prediction, and also the receptivity of the plant, that is also a very key factor, and that's what I want to address. So I think this will really help us in the long run, this whatever inputs you have given us. Thank you, sir.
Very nice, Mr. Jeremiah, and that idea of smart rainfed farming project cluster of 15 villages with core group on donor fellowship farm field. It will give what do you call renewed strength and cooperative cooperative structure. And you rightly said it, technology integration is very important, and that's why we are trying to bring the experts for understanding at the grassroots level problems, and it's very nice. And Dr. Marco and Mr. Robert, that you heard Dr. Mahantish Patil what he said it, he's ready to experiment, and he runs an academy for extension crop extension academy. And Professor Patil, Dr. Patil, Suresh Patil, he is based in Mumbai, but working for our smart table farming project in Palghar district, and he's bringing in agricultural university experts and many other field experts under this project. So, under the smart tribal farming area, we would like to experiment this product because we are trying to have so much agriculture commodity value chain we have identified. I'll send those brochures which I already brought out for your information. And let us see that under this project, in some pilot project in in Mr. Jeremiah's farm fields, and also that in various other areas like what Dr. Mahantis Patil said it. Let us see that and see to that your the investment for the pilot project also has to come drastically, it should be less, and that will give a very good operational plan to be put up to the government, even like what Dr. Suresh Patil said it. We should with this our success experiment, we should be able to put up a note to the government for a subsidy to be made available. Under this one it will happen. And since the new government is going to take over in another 2 weeks time, and based on this today's webinar, the reason for pressurizing all of you to have the presentation today is to have an approach paper developed so that this can be present to the new government in the appropriate forum. And I'm also, yesterday I have been I've been requested to be the chairman of India's Digital Agriculture Council, of the Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture, which is held day before yesterday. And we'll be in a position to present, submit and present the such policy papers to the government in an effective manner. But since we are involved in grassroots level project development, with that experience we'll prepare the policy paper. It's not like other groups which they do the policy papers, and many times it doesn't have the grassroots level experiment. But today I'm very happy that we are able to have 6 people discussing us a very important point for 1 hour 59 minutes. So it is on dot. We started on dot at 11 a.m. and we are going to finish at 1 p.m. and dot. And I will request every one of you to prepare a 1 or 2 page note, with the bullet points. And Mr. Robert and Dr. Marco, and also, and along with the input from Mr. Sami Osman, and let us prepare a very good, policy paper for submission. And before that, I would like to request every one of you to have a final remark, maybe one or two sentence. Then I will close the webinar. Over to you. To start with Dr. Marco.
Uh, anyway, thank you, Professor Moni. Congratulations on your appointment as the chairman. It's very nice. And yeah, hope and thank you for this webinar, putting this webinar together. I guess this is a place where we can, like-minded people can get together and find ways how we can improve, uh, basically the condition for the farmers and the soil. That's our priority here. So let's work towards that together. And thank you.
Dr. Mahantish Patil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
After listening to Rajnishan, I got an idea that wherever we run these smart tribal farming practices, either it's technology input or expertise, let us make it as a production incentive, isn't it? For example, as Robert was mentioning, it is linked to the carbon credit. So this way, we can make this production linked incentives wherever we use the smart things. Okay, let us make our farmers as celebrities after using the smart process of farming. I think recently I have attended a buyer's carbon initiative, which is done in Karnataka in paddy, especially on the AWD process linked to the carbon credit under Gen Zero project, Singapore based. So there we have discussed in length how this water management and the nutrient management in paddy will acquire the carbon credits, okay, globally or locally, whatever the procedure is there. So this way we can think of really it's a good point that Rajnishan has mentioned. Until unless we support the farming community with some other extra incentives for having done that process, either with knowledge or without knowledge, it will be an added value to the project proposal also, sir. Whatever we develop a project, let us link to the production linked incentives wherever we use such technology. That is a very good aspect that I wanted to share with you. And once again, thank you, sir, for this invitation, and also listening to the people from Green Wave and also other experts. Thank you, Nanda.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Srishesh Patel.
Yes. My message is directly to the Greenwave team, Robert and Dr. Marco. You have done an excellent job by developing this product, and it's a wonderful product. It's a supreme product, and I assure you all cooperation from the Indian side. You are welcome to bring this product to India and see to it that it can be used in as many crops as possible. And we are here to support you because we support all good things, and your product is really a very good thing. And all support to you. You are welcome to India and wishing you all the very best. Thank you, Professor Modi.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Robert.
Yes. And thank you, Professor Moni, for putting this on, and a pleasure to meet all of you gentlemen. To go back to why we didn't come to India sooner. Well, we had to actually, we really just invented, I don't know, how long ago was it, Marco, on the new one? About 2 months ago?
Yeah, the
The
latest
A,
one.
B, and B plus. We just invented that. And we're using it obviously in Sri Lanka right now. And we're pretty proud of it. It hasn't even reached Africa yet, so you could be second in getting it. But anyway, yes, we are really happy that you're here and listening and willing to support Greenwave products. We have worked hard at this for a long time, and we knew eventually the world would change and they'd start paying attention to their own homeland. And I think COVID produced that. And I've said that before in other talks, that people had time to be home to see how much destruction has taken place on farmland. England, you might have read an article a year ago that they came out, no, maybe 2 years ago, where they basically said all their soil was essentially dead. And that's been true all over Africa because Africa gets dumped on for everything. And now they're changing. They have new young presidents in many countries. And Africa is going to be one of the fastest growing continents for the next 20 years, long after I'm gone. So I'll leave Marco to finish it. But anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to be part of it.
Thank you. Let us work together and let us bring the benefits to the farmers. And we have about 85% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers, and their productivity has to be increased, and they have to be, income generator. That to have multiple multiple income increase methods. We have to bring it out. Thank you very much, and Mr. Jeremiah, your last remark.
Yes, sir. Thank you everyone for your wonderful presentation. I'm really astonished by what efforts you have taken to heal the wound which we have inflicted on Mother Earth, and also all these new innovations which will lead us in the path of sustainability. So, because we are seeing in our own eyes how farmers suffer, because from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and how they are, and how much urbanization is happening now. So, I am really looking forward to using this product, and hope that it will help all the marginal farmers on the pathway of sustainability. And I also surprised whether this can be used for millets also, because we live in a semi-arid region. Probably you must have tried that in Africa, where they grow millets. So if it has been tried in millets, that would be a great advantage, because we are also planning to change the diet pattern of the people. We want to shift the next generation to go into local and seasonal diet, because that will solve a lot of issues. So millets and grains, also if this can support it, that will be a great advantage. Thank you, gentlemen, once again.
Thank you very much. And then I also would like to request you to prepare a note in this direction. Please send it. And with this, I thank every one of you. First, I would like to thank my friend, Mr. K.C. Reddy, who was able to introduce the team of Mr. Robert, Reese, and Dr. Marco Thiruselvam and Sami. We had 2 to 3 meetings before, organizing this program. Thank you very much, Mr. Reddy, and Dr. Marco Thiruselvam, Mr. Robert Reese, and Dr. Professor Mohandes Patil, Dr. Shirish Patil, and my close friend, Mr. Jeremiah Rajaneshan. And with this, I would like to thank our Honorable Chancellor of the University, Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, and he has been given a wonderful support and encouragement for, first of all, to have me as a Professor Emeritus and Chairman of 5 centers of excellence established in this university. This university is the first private university to have 5 centers of excellence: Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Government Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing to promote technology in agriculture and rural management in the country. And we also come out with launched programs on MTech in Agricultural Informatics, MBA in Industry Management, and MSc in Health Informatics, and MTech in Informatics and e-governance in a very big manner. And I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, faculty members, participants from both in India and abroad, and above all, my fellow speakers who participated in the program today very effectively. And it's a very important topic, precision farming through enhanced efficiency fertilizers for increased yields, greater profits, and higher carbon credits, and achieving sustainable development goals 2 and 13. So as it's rightly said it, that let us try to take advantage of this product and we will try to bring out an policy paper in this direction to be submitted to the government. And I also would like to form a special group with 6 people to begin with, and how to bring out a promotional aspect of this product in various crops, which we will be trying to promote it in all our smart tribal farming project, which has been taken throughout the country. That will give a very good space at the grassroots level to test and bring out the results for these commodities. But we also would like to look for your generous support and some sort of a CSR component to be utilized under the smart tribal farming projects. Thank you very much with your participation, and I will request
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Reddy and Dr. Marco to also to bring out the works this webinar proceedings based on the video which is available, which is will be available in YouTube as well as also university website, so that that will support to bring out the policy paper for submission to the Government of India. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll close.